Welcome back for the crypto market update. Still working on the name idea, but Bitcoin did not push above $95,000. It did push up here to a little bit north of 94,000, about $94,700 yesterday, which is great. It did close a TBO Open Long on yesterday's recently closed candle as of 15 minutes ago. But we have a slight problem. And this is the thing I was warning you guys about yesterday. I was saying, well, now that we're up to this point, the main thing that I'm concerned about are these two overlapping Fibonacci levels, right? At 94,570, which was pierced, 95,000, and also this resistance ray level at 95K. Here's the deal. If Bitcoin cannot muster up enough strength to push above $95,000, which is going to be pretty difficult in my opinion, if it can't do that, but instead it starts to, well, this drawing is a little bit older now, crazy how fast things have changed, but if it keeps knocking over and over and over, but it can't push above, let me be honest with you too, it's not going to take this long. It's not going to take 20 days. This move could actually be shortened up a whole lot more, because let's be real, it looks more like this. So we could see some sort of a pullback here. Maybe we see another test, but honestly, if we don't see Bitcoin push above $95,000, I would even say by the beginning of next week, we're most certainly going to be heading down to $82,000. Now, not right away, in the same way that we obviously didn't right away go up to 95K, but this is a very pivotal price point. Yeah, it's a lot of peace. Now, looking at the TBO, yes, we have a TBO Open Long. This is an amazing signal, but just because we have an Open Long confirmed does not mean the price just instantly shoots up. Back over here in September, I believe, 2024, we saw an Open Long, a little bit of a move up higher, and then it retraced back down to the TBO Fast Line. It wasn't that far, and it wasn't that much of a pump. Of another TBO Open Long, price actually retraced, went up a little higher, and then it had a pullback. Here we have a TBO Open Long and a pump. Price goes up about 7%, but it doesn't necessarily mean the price is going up immediately higher. So I'm not trying to discredit the TBO, but I'm also trying to be realistic, knowing that we are going sideways for quite a while still. The good things that I'm seeing, and again, I'm trying to stay positive for you guys, but the good things is that we have the price of Bitcoin above the daily TBO cloud, which tells me that it is strong bullish. But because it's moved up super high, super fast, didn't have a real proper pullback yesterday, there's a chance that it will struggle at $95,000. And if that does happen, we will be pulling back to about 82K at the lowest. Now, another plausible target would be down here about 86, 85K. But just understand this is like, there's so many conditional things that have to happen first. Now, one sign that you can watch for, and I've been telling people about this in the Better Traders Club, it's not just price action, but volume. If volume all of a sudden starts to underwhelm the yellow moving average, if volume just starts to drop like it did back over here, that will be a bearish sign. But if we see a push above 95K, that should mean volume just shoots up like crazy. And if we have sustained volume exceeding this yellow moving average, that will be a really good sign. Daily RSI moved all the way up to 82.43 yesterday. This is incredible. There's a lot of strength here. On balance volume looks really good on the weekly time frame. We are exceeding the TBO Fast Line. We are basically up at that targeted level that I shared like weeks ago. So we're doing exactly what I was expecting. Now it's up to BTC and the price action and all the market participants to decide, do we really want to buy more Bitcoin up here? Or if we don't, then it's going to have a pullback. It's going to retrace for sure. Now, I have other charts that I want to share with you, but before we get to those, I have two TradFi charts we need to watch. One, the volatility index of the S&P. I talk about this a lot in the Better Traders Club market analysis write-ups that I do 4 days a week, and also in the weekly market analysis video. The price, quote unquote, of the VIX actually fell lower. It made a lower low compared to the low here on April the 15th, which is great. We really want to see this fall down lower. So that way we're like not at high alert anymore. This is a good start. RSI is still pretty much neutral, but this is great. You'll notice as well that gold actually closed down yesterday after pumping nearly up to the 2.0 Fibonacci extension from a massively old Fibonacci level. Now, the weekly is still looking strong, but It's still looking really strong. It's hard to like argue with this chart. It's massively bullish, but having a pullback wouldn't surprise me. If it does happen to go inside of the TBO cloud here, like 3,200, that would be quite strange. But the main thing is that gold falling is a risk on. I'm sorry, no, what is it? Risk off. Yeah, risk off asset green light. Basically, Bitcoin, stocks, all that stuff. Gold's falling, so that's a signal that there's less fear in the market. The VIX is falling, that's a signal that there's less fear in the market. So that's why things are doing pretty well right now. Now let's talk about a couple of these. NEIRO did print a TBO close short yesterday, cha-ching, and it finally successfully broke above its overhead resistance line that's been in place for a long time. This is a great sign for NEIRO. On the weekly time frame, it's starting to finally retrace and finally move back up. It has a short-term, quote-unquote, target of, $3.37. So from the current price, up another 37% to the TBO fast line, the weekly one. That would be quite the increase, to be honest. And it also kind of matches up to TBO support back over here, which is going to act as resistance here about 3.48 or like 350 or so. Okay, so it's a pretty good target. Polkadot also printed a TBO close short yesterday. Now, again, just a reminder, when we get these, it does not mean we just ape into a position. We really ideally want to enter on a pullback to the TBO fast line. It might mean we have to wait a couple of days, but this is a great reversal sign, especially for a chart that retraced all the way down to TBO support just 2 weeks ago, and now it's up about 14%. There we go, back to the daily. Now, Ethereum, a lot of you have been asking about Ethereum. How's Ethereum doing? Well, it did close up positively yesterday, 2%, just slightly better than Bitcoin. It doesn't have any TBO close shorts yet. There really isn't enough volume or demand yet, but on the weekly time frame, one of the best things that's happening for this is that we have an RSI reset after making a newer low back here at 20.6. It's insane, the week for the 31st of March. So this is a good sign of strength. This is the weekly. And again, our weekly TBO fast line is up here at 2303. That's a huge increase. We haven't seen a weekly candle look this good. I would say even back here since November. It's been brutal for the weekly. So this is one of the better weeks that Ethereum has had for sure. Could it continue moving up higher? You know what? If there is enough momentum to continue to push it up higher, it will force all the short sellers to liquidate their positions or to panic close their positions, which would create a short squeeze liquidation to the upside. And what's more interesting is that there is momentum building for the Ethereum ecosystem coins, like Uniswap. Uniswap is an Ethereum ecosystem coin where you're swapping tokens using the Ethereum network. And it's just a little bit easier than using something else. It's just like an OG protocol. We also have by the way, there's also a TBO close short. There's also Arbitrum, a layer 2 for Ethereum, printed a TBO close short yesterday. Optimism, a layer 2 for Ethereum, printed a TBO close short yesterday. Getting a theme here. So I do expect there to be a TBO close short printing soon for Ethereum, which will be a very bullish signal. Again, when we saw a TBO close short for Bitcoin, it did take several days, if not a little bit more than a week, for it to pump, but it's a great bullish reversal signal. So I do think that one is coming for Ethereum, but we need to wait until it happens before we can get excited. But there are previews of that happening with Ethereum ecosystem coins. Now I have a couple of these coins right here behind my head that we need to look at. For one, Pole, or which used to be Matic, did pierce overhead resistance yesterday, but lo and behold, it struggled to push above. Gasp, whoever would have thought that would be coming. It also struggled right here because look at this. This is an intersection of the 236 fib level and overhead resistance. So I'm not really surprised. The volume's great. Volume fell down a little bit yesterday. It could still push up. And if it does, it needs to not only push above overhead diagonal resistance, it also needs to push above the 236 fib level. It's not impossible. And we are seeing growth building on weekly RSI, but volume is really dead. It looks really bad. It could still have a pullback. It needs to conquer and push above the 236 to really build any sense of momentum. Fetch AI did try to close above overhead resistance yesterday. Tuesday was a good close of, I can't even read the percentage because this arrow's in the way, 5.45%. Yesterday it closed down, but it's above this overhead resistance line. If it can claim this and stay above it, man, oh man, this will be a great sign for Fetch. It should be able to continue moving up at least to $1.06, where this long TBO support line is, which is basically going to be resistance at $1.13. There's also this level right here at 80 cents as well. We want to pay attention to the long TBO support and resistance levels for really strong price-based targets. Now, a couple of these other coins are, I'm sure, a little bit debatable on like how amazing they are, but we're just focusing on interesting price action. HEX, after printing a TBO close short yesterday, pumped 23% yesterday and continues to move up higher. It looks like the SEC win for Richard Hart is paying off for HEX holders. The target right here is approximately at 0.004022, which from the current price is an increase of about 45%. I don't even think it's going to hit that, maybe about just under it, 0.004. But that's a reasonable target because we've seen HEX struggle several times with trying to break out above this long-term overhead trend line. And how long-term? Let me just zoom out for you. Yeah, it's been a while, and it's been a point that's struggled for HEX to break above. It is near all-time lows. There is a chance if some sort of volume happens or Richard Hart starts streaming again, talking about HEX, talking about Pulse, all that fun stuff, we could see HEX shoot up higher, but that is a very, very, very long shot. I think in the short term, this is a reasonable target, about 30% above the current price. Trump coin pumped, well, from wick to wick yesterday, it pumped 70%. What is going on? Well, apparently, you can have dinner with President Trump. The top 220 holders of Trump coin will be invited to a dinner with President Trump. Because of this, it pumped the price up significantly. Now, what's interesting is that we already broke above overhead resistance, and now the price is actually doing something for once. But it's sad that it has to be manipulated in this way. This isn't really the best way to run a token, but it's interesting, and it did definitely pump the price, especially interesting knowing that they just unlocked a lot of coins last week. So having an unlock last week, and then this week talking about this invitation for the top 220 holders to pump the price kind of sounds like an exit pump to me. I don't know. What do you think about that? NEIRO continues to rip higher and higher. Yesterday, it pushed up 53%. From Monday till yesterday, up 277%. Do not fade the pumps, guys. Even if it seems like there's no way it could keep going, it can keep going, especially if it's a low cap. And speaking of, BRETT, a meme coin, we talked about this yesterday. It closed at 24%, and it's in process of printing a TBO Open Long on the daily candle today. The amount of euphoria right now is just getting started. If you're missing out on these trade setups and these opportunities, I have lots of them in the Better Traders Club. You can go to thebettertraders.com. The link is in the description down below. You don't even have to pay a ton. You can join the crypto cheapo tier, as I like to call it, which is the starter tier. It's just $1 a month to get started. But if you want access to the TBO or TBT divergence signal, you need to join the trader or the pro tier respectively. And I want to remind you that I'm going to be in Toronto on May 15th for the first ever Better Trader Summit in partnership with Altrady. I would love to see you all there, but unfortunately we can't fit all of you in the hotel that we have rented for the space. We are limited to just 30 seats and we are selling tickets, and we're super excited to see a lot of you there in person. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.